saying Kartika Purnami. Okay. Kartika Purnami. Okay.
Naranji is saying.
Yeah.
You got Kartika Deepam also.
But there is Chitra Purnami also.
Correct. 6 months.
Chitra Purnami. Chitra Purnami.
Chitra Purnima comes sometime during June and Kartika Purnima comes sometime during December.
Chitra Masa, April, May.
Chitra Masa comes
April.
during April.
April. In April.
Yeah. So Purnami. So
Magha Purnima.
Magha also is there, no?
Yeah, Magha Purnima, we always have Surya Namaskaram on that day. 108 Surya Namaskaram.
Okay, so through the moon you recognize sun, something like that. So sun has come close, as it were, you know. Sun has decided to come and visit us.
Yes.
Ratha Saptami we do 108 Surya Namaskars.
Ratha Saptami, okay, correct. Ratha Saptami. Surya Namaskar. There is mantra, Surya Namaskar mantras also. How many of you have chanted Aruna Prashna? Oh, Meera and Sunita and others have chanted, okay? Yeah, so Aruna Prashna, long mantra. If you really have to chant it, it will take a long time, very long time. Of course, you must learn to chant properly. So, Miron Matana Shambhu Tashtama Tanda Amshuma. Okay, so this January 1st is a Sunday, is it not? Sunday, correct? Yeah. So we can. So I was talking to Swamiji yesterday, and so she's available. Not in morning IST, because morning IST she's visiting the ashram. She'll be back by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And so she graciously agreed to bless us. And so, evening time, India time. Okay. What time would become convenient for both US and India time zones? So, Gayatri will come to that in a second. So, what time will be convenient?
I don't know, it's okay. Anything 6 o'clock, 7, 6:30, 7, so.
Yeah, okay. So I'll leave it to Swamiji. Swamiji, from 6 p.m. onwards, anytime we can have for an hour. And I told her we can have your talk, and we can followed by Q&A. She said, "Oh, questions also," because you know she's also teaching online, and somehow it seems they don't ask her questions, and then somehow they say, "Oh, all our questions get answered in your classes." Like that, she gets some kind of responses. I told her about all of you, and I said you've been attending classes for now many years, 3, 4, 5 years, and Kathopanishad class also. There are people who have studied already, not in our Kendram, but they're all fairly well prepared, and basics they know, and so you can talk about any subject. Swamiji is what I told her, and she heartily agreed. And so what we'll do, Vijay, what we can do is tentatively, let me check with Swamiji and confirm. So 6 p.m., something like 6 p.m. So that
Yeah, only thing is, Jagmarji, if there are people from Pacific time, it may be too small. I don't know whether anybody from Pacific.
Oh, Pacific. Okay. California.
I don't know whether anybody is there. I don't know.
Rukmini is in California. She's in Sanskrit class. She's not in our classes. Who else? Yeah, Balaji used to be there. He's in California, but he's not attending our classes. So anyway, if we can't think of anybody right now, so 6:30. I'll check with Swamiji and I'll ask Swamiji to choose a time. Okay. Oh, Vijay is going to Kashi. Vijay started to make all these nice trips. Tirtha Yatra is doing.
I'll be back only on first evening.
First evening. Okay. So you may be able to.
Maybe I may be able to, yeah.
So, okay, we'll do that. And once I confirm Vijay, you can send the note out.
Okay.
And we can invite others also, our Sanskrit class students, all of them we can invite.
Any outsiders we can invite, Guruji?
Yeah, I think so. I think anybody can come. So we can invite. So I think if you can write a short, nice note on WhatsApp, which looks like an announcement, brief announcement.
Yeah.
Jagamarji, the only person I can think of being in Pacific time is Hema Shankarji in Kathopanishad class. I think she is in Kerala.
Right. So what is the time difference?
2 hours between. So that's like 6 o'clock in India is 4:30 in California or Pacific time.
Okay. So let's do this. If you can send a note to Hema Shankar quickly and say, hey, do you think you will be available or not? If she's available, we'll push it to 6:30, so 5 a.m. her time. If not, I'll leave it to Swamiji. Something like I can do that. I can wait for a bit and then do that. Okay, so this question is there here from Gayatri. Can ladies chant an Aruna Prashnam mantras, Guruji? That's what she's asking. So this Veda Parayana, chanting of Veda mantras, the tradition has become like this. Tradition is the traditional people will not allow ladies to chant. There's no lady chanting. It's become, at least in our Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and all, they won't allow ladies to chant. Andhra, they won't allow ladies. But then there are sampradayas where ladies also chant. Because all sampradayas here and there, ladies chant. One thing is there. This chanting, when it is done properly, the proper breath and swaras are there, and then it impacts for women, the uterus it impacts. And so they will say women, that is one reason they say women should not chant, because it impacts the uterus. And so that thing should not get affected. So that was the reason given for women not chanting. But then, therefore, what many places was what they do is, even we do, which is that after after the reproductive age is over, etc., then women can chant, no problem with that. That's also a popular view, and so Pujya Swamiji used to allow that, and even others also. Pujya Swamiji used to allow all ladies used to chant in our ashram, and so in our anybody who comes to the ashram, they all learn, men and women both learn to chant, and so it depends on the sampradaya. And so I follow that same, whatever Pujya Swamiji follows. So I don't distinguish. I only say that we have to keep the purity. And so whenever you have to avoid chanting, you just avoid chanting. That's what I tell ladies. And so you have to be careful, Gayatri, where you do what you do and all that. In places where they don't allow women to chant, even if you have learned to chant, here, you shouldn't go somewhere else and then chant where they don't like women chanting. Just accept that, respect their traditions wherever we are.
Thank you, Guruji. Because when we went to Somnath for the Adhirudram, so they never wanted the ladies to chant Rudra, no? So they said no for ladies. Say to chant Aruna Prashnam mantras or anything. Yeah. They say you can chant slokas, but not Veda mantras.
Correct.
So that's why I got this. So I wanted to clarify with you.
Yeah, in Andhra, this Chelakere brothers, they are teaching girls also.
Nice.
Their classes, they are teaching girls also. So the girls are chanting very well. So it's a tradition.
Chelakere brothers is Bangalore, Guruji.
Chelakere brothers is Bangalore. Okay.
Bangalore.
They stay in Girinagar.
Girinagar. They're having this Veda Pathshala, right?
Yes.
They have a Veda Pathshala and they, generations wise, they are chanting.
They teach women also.
They teach women. Okay. Right.
And their rendition is very nice. See, we can learn with the recordings also. It's very nice.
They don't
Guruji.
recommend learning through recordings. They say, listen, don't learn.
They are against recording.
But no, we can rectify our whatever the swaras or whatever it is needed. No corrections we can make by hearing the recordings.
So actually, my Veda Guruji has a slightly different view, Guruji. So he says that ladies should not chant, not because they're not eligible, but because they need to be protected. It is a risk for them. So in fact, even the same similar case of ladies going to Shabrimala in that age, there's a lot of research done by a lady called as Dr. Sinu Joseph. Her videos are available on YouTube. She has explained what happens to the woman in that age group when they do the Shabrimala trip. She has done it personally. So she has explained it on our videos.
Yeah, she visited Houston a few months ago.
Actually, what
In-
I'm asking is
In
after a
Ayyappan
certain
temple,
age,
in Guruvayurappan temple. So she gave
No,
a talk
after
on
a
the
certain
same
age-
topic by what Narayanji is saying.
no, what I want to clarify is yes, what like Guruji said, after a certain age, I think ladies should be allowed to chant.
So that's what.
That
So
is what I
therefore,
was.
so the tradition is that it is meant for that, acknowledging the woman's need for women's protection, and so that was the reason. That is the reason often quoted, and that's why ladies should not chant. And that is the reason, scientific reason behind why ladies are not taught. That's the traditional reason. And then once they are not taught, then what happens in the tradition? Suddenly, after 60 and all, you can't begin chanting. In a Veda Padishala, if you're not learned from childhood, you're not learned. Even people like me who have chanted quite a bit, okay? We have learned so much. When I go to Veda Padishala, I keep my mouth shut. Because they are doing it all day. For years, they are doing it. And just because I can chant a few mantras, even Taittiriya Upanishad by heart, I know. But they know the Vedas by heart, entire Vedas. So I'm not, we can't go there and simply chant, etc. So that's a different tradition altogether. They are the ones who have given us the Vedas. And so we acknowledge the tradition. And so, but yeah, so these days women are chanting in various places. You just follow the tradition, follow whatever tradition you want. If you really want, somebody called me and said from the US only, they call Cleveland, this, what's her name? She called me, and I want to learn Samaveda. I'm not getting a guru. And Samaveda guru. So I think finally she found one. I think I forget now. But yeah, so it's tough because traditional teacher, if you want, then they may not accept women. Then it has to be from some other sampradaya who's good at, who's learned properly. And Guru Mukhat. So we all learned from a teacher. And yeah, online teaching, I've tried online Veda and all. I had some people and we tried the Mohini and all were there, no, in the class. And Veda Parayanam online is, I found it to be, for me, it was laborious because I had to check the pronunciation of everybody. And whereas if the people are in a group, see, group listening is not possible on Zoom. Group listening, not possible because it just cuts off. And so, but in a group, if they're chanting, we can quickly identify these apaswaras, quickly identify. And then, no, we can say, point to that person and say, no, repeat that. No, repeat that. Okay. Shanno mitrasham varunaha. So repeat that. You can say. But in Zoom, I found it to be difficult. And so I start teaching that online. And there are some schools I see, occasionally I see some messages. There are some schools that are specializing in this online teaching. I don't know how they do it, but you're welcome to welcome to learn from them. And one of my classmates who we are studying every week, we are all 3 or 4 of us are studying and with Swamiji here, and she is teaching Vedapara. So if you really want to learn, you let me know and then send me a note, and then I can connect you with her. She's doing it online.
Guruji, Premaji is also starting Tattva Bodha.
Oh, I see. How is the Gita class going?
It's going very well.
Once a week on Saturday, I think, right?
On Saturday.
Okay, good. So, so where are you now? Have you entered the first chapter yet?
We are in the second chapter.
Oh,
Second chapter, around 30 shlokas have been done.
Yeah, very good. So you and I think 2 or 3 people are there in that.
Myself and Rama,
Uh-huh.
only both of us are there, and there are 2 other people.
Yeah, very good. Good for those who have missed the initial classes. Yeah. Very good.
Guruji, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here in all these manifestations, we have learned that multiple times, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho, right? He keeps saying that I am in all Jivas. And how do I understand this? I am in moon specifically, I am there, I am here. Because when you say pervading, it is everywhere in the same proportion, right? It cannot be in fragments. From that standpoint, how do I understand these shlokas?
See, we cannot visualize the infinite. So the mind has to hold on to something finite. You can't visualize the ocean. You have to visualize you have to go to the beach and then see the surf coming. And then you can imagine the water in the surf. Okay? But you can't imagine the ocean. It's not possible. You say, I saw the ocean, but really speaking, you're not seeing the ocean. You're seeing a small part of the ocean. Small part of the ocean is what you're seeing, and you're calling it ocean. Therefore, it's impossible. You the minute you say, I'm going to contemplate, then you're already talking only the finite. Through the finite, we are accessing the infinite. Through the finite, infinite. That's how it works. Correct? So, and then there is living and then non-living. Both are there. And those two have to be connected slowly. Right? Because consciousness in the living being is more obvious. But non-living also, same consciousness is there. That is the next step. So there, this moon meditation, all is very helpful for that. Very helpful. Yeah, if you have some other question, you can ask. This is what I had in mind.
So my thinking was like, if consciousness reflects and mind is the medium, mind also should be me only, like consciousness only. So when we think like mind is Ishvara in his glory, then the mind, the constituents of the mind also is Ishvara. Ishvara only. So it becomes a little, confusing why it is all highlighted like this.
Yeah, so the child has to be told the wave is water. It has to be told the wave is recognizable as a form, as a finite entity, and the content of the wave is water. So content of the moon is Bhagavan. Moon is Bhagavan means content of moon is Bhagavan. Correct? Without knowing all the minerals that are there on moon, all the chemical species that are there, without knowing if there is life in the moon or not, without knowing all of that, we can say very well, moon is Brahma. So that and the moon brings glory to us here on earth. And so either way you look at it, you'll have to drive down to that what you said, content, right? And Mithya Satyam you know already. Mithya and Satyam you know. So therefore you can say, really there is no separate entity called the moon. That also is a good meditation to have. What I think as a separate entity called the moon is really not a separate independent entity. Not independent at all. Right? That may also help you to some extent. That should help you.
Yeah.
That should help you resolve that difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is also talking about those recognizable things. I am the tattva in that.
Yes.
But then I recognize everything, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, like moon, Aditya's 12 are there. All the 12 are equally recognizable, and I am special, something like I am the Aditya, the one Vishnu, which is among, that means you are segregating among 12 as I being the special. So that becomes a little difficult to grasp. Like I am there in everything in the same proportion. It's your mind which actually recognizing something as special, because that is, again, it comes down to likes and dislikes, right? So here I have a problem because of that.
It is like the mother telling there four children are there, 5 children. Then you tell the kids, I love you the most. The mother says, what? Other children will complain if you say that. I love you the most means what are you talking? Am I talking is I love you the most. How will you explain this to your children if you say that? How will you explain this? I love everybody equally. But then the child doesn't want to hear that. The child doesn't like that. He says, you have to love me the most. Then only that I want to hear that from you. Okay. That's what the child wants. Then okay, I love you the most. Come, I love you the most. So that's all. That's what it is. So I have to grow out of that. Correct. So everything is Bhagavan. But if you can understand it, you got it, everything, then it's okay. Then after that, this statement should not bother you. If you're a jnani, it should not bother you. If I am not a jnani, then what happens? Then I need access to that all-pervading Vishnu. And the access is through all the glorious things. And at least the glorious things I can accept as Ishvara. Then slowly I go from glorious to non-glorious things. And so, therefore, then it's not a judgment of one against the other. You can't pass a judgment anyway. And so, we don't look at it as we look at it as a mother, not necessarily being partial to the child, but yet saying, you are the most beautiful. That example just came to me when you asked the question. Honey, you are the most beautiful. Then everybody will complain. The children will complain. Husband also will complain, I think. I don't know. So, what do you mean? You told me I was the most beautiful. Now you're telling children are most beautiful. So, like that.
Guruji, you had a question, how do Vaishnavas treat Rudra? So, ISKCON has resolved it very easily. They have said Shankara is the biggest devotee of Krishna.
There we go. That's it. Over.
Over. He is the biggest devotee of Krishna. Not even Vishnu, Krishna.
Then how come Rama prayed to Shiva before he went to Sri Lanka? That question we have to ask them. Oh boy, this is so interesting.
Guruji, Hemaji is now in the East Coast. So anytime in the evening, India time is okay for her. She's gone to Washington, DC now.
Oh, yeah, she mentioned that. Okay, I see.
So whatever time Swamini ji is okay, we can.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Dhanyavada, Guruji.
Devada.
Dhanvantri.
Okay. We'll do that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraya Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanatthaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraya Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanatthaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraya Amrita Kalasahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanatthaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.